Here we are, back again. It's in Germany, Thursday afternoon, and if I'm looking out of the window, it is for sure very gray. We have a German summer at the moment. So, welcome back to our lovely sales inspiration time. And one, before we go down, deep dive into our topic, a short question for you. We're still trying to figure out what is the best schedule time. So we're all around now to our German time, like between 3 to 5 p.m. But not sure if that's really the best way to go for you. So if you have some time and watched our shows, please give us feedback if you prefer a different timing for it, especially considering we want to reach our international crowd. So we have like an Indian, US time scramble a little bit. So it will be cool if you think that's a good time so that we can fix a little bit more of a schedule so it's easier for you for join us live. So, but on the other hand, if you give us the feedback, I always watch the replay, then we're gonna probably scramble around a little bit more. But okay, scrambling around, asking for advice is a classical thing you do in sales. Yeah, you ask your clients or your possible clients, what are their needs? And don't laugh at me, but you don't know how many times in sales training, in workshops and everything else, that question that salespeople forget to ask their potential buyer about their needs, that comes up. Really, if you what's called shadow coaching or shadow workshopping, so you watch people do a sales job, it's incredible how people don't ask, what do you need from me? What are your stuff you really working on? So where are you stuck at? So that simple question is, where are you stuck at? Doesn't come up. So we started out with a little bit of sales skills. So best sales tip for the next week, probably ask your potential client, where are they stuck? What do they need from you? Magic trick in sales. Not really, but mostly not overlooked, that would be true, but mostly not done. So, but we are still in our special versions of sales mindset. And today I titled it a little bit differently, so I'm not quite sure where you even see the title. That's always a little bit irritating. So if I'm going on Facebook Live, it tells me he, she, it, doesn't matter, tells me I have to put in a title so more people can find it. And then I'm like, where is that title? But here we are. So what I put in is a little bit, what we do with sales mindset is one part of the sales psychology. We're going to move into sales and especially buyer psychology over the next weeks. But now we're still stuck with ourselves. And the stuck thing with ourselves is really coming down to our today's episode about to sell consistently. So constantly working and continuously working on your sales and making a sales. If you look at why companies struggle, why people call me or us and ask like, we need help, there's kind of two things. First of all, they want to approach new clients. They didn't work before, so it's kind of a market or entry or product launch and stuff like that. So new stuff. And the other part is also about like our sales. It's not, I really don't know what's going to happen here. So they look at their numbers and there is not kind of there is no theme in it. There's no structure in it. And there is nothing on a real feedback on what does work and what doesn't work. So if you have that kind of situation where you think like, yes, here I made money and here I didn't. And was that now because one was April and the other was June? Or was it because it was a gray summer day in Germany and that I made a sale in downtown London? No. So if you don't know how to replicate your sales, you're always going to end up confused. But it's not only the skill side, it's especially your side, which we have to look at. Why that replication doesn't happen and what implications that has on you. If you don't replicate your sales success or you cannot replicate your sales success, you're in an awful position. Because what's going to happen is the numbers or the filling of your fridge or paying your rent is more dependent on hope. So you hope to get your new client. You hope that your sales and marketing will work, but you will hope. So you're in hope land. And while hope is a beautiful thing, it's not a good business strategy. Hope is not a good business strategy, and especially hope is not a good sales strategy, especially in crisis time as we are at the moment. So if you look at your own sales mindset and the own stuff you struggle with, is think about that beautiful moment back in the day probably where you had that spark where you kind of like probably founded your company or started a new product, that spark of enjoyment of starting out, starting fresh and doing something new, which was kind of like exciting, and you had that drive to do stuff and to follow through, at least partially, and then that spark got smaller, got diminished, and the reality kind of hit in, and from that spark and joy of starting new, it became of that. You had to do the work. You had to follow through. You had to follow up and everything else. But did you really do that? Or did you change gears and went back to the spark, the new product, the next launch, the next shiny object? Come on, tell me. You're as guilty as I am on that. I am also totally guilty of that. And I even know that I'm working on that for now that so many years, to follow through with everything and to follow up with everything. It's sometimes it's just so magical and doing something new, and it's exciting and not that boring job I'm literally doing every freaking day. But what's going to happen here? Well, what's going on here? How can it be that we have that spark, enthusiasm, drive if we start something new, and then on the other hand we follow through with stuff, we work on it, and we screw it up short before the end? It's not like we're like short before everything would work out. You know that after you've done it, sometimes it's literally the moment you're gonna throw everything away. And that following through is the biggest break point why you don't do your sales on a constant level, and which means your company is always in hope mode. Your sales is your one driving factor that your company is not in hope mode, not in hope of the next client, not in hope of survival, and not in hope of paying the bills, or not in hope making $1 million. It's not hope, it's work. But as long as you are in that spark situation and in that newness situation, and you are much more interested in that, you will not follow through. So as soon as something goes hard, you stop. As soon as something goes a little bit itchy and you have to work it through, you will start something new. So when you do that, of course, what's not going to happen is a reliability for your clients. And that reliability that you are here now, the next week, the next 20 days, the next 200 days, the next years, are essential for your clients. Most clients, even if they buy a product, you have guarantees on that. And if you do services, it's even much more important that clients has the understanding that you are in for the long term. And now think about your sales. Does your sales looks like long-term success? Are you in for the long haul? Do you have any kind of stuff where your client sees, okay, they're doing that constantly? So we started out with the English sales preparation now some weeks back. I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, not sure about that. But we started out some weeks back. And we're still figuring out a little bit of the schedule. We're figuring out how do you like the topics? How do you like doing as in English? That it's kind of like that we have an overall theme for the German and the English version. Is that good for our German clientele? So we're still figuring stuff out. If I would be probably new in my job and not in for 20 years and look at the numbers, I would have said, fuck that shit. We don't have the response rate we have in German. Of course we don't have. I know that, so it doesn't matter. But like, I would be like, yeah, that was new now, but it didn't make the big bam boom. It doesn't like crash everything and make a big splash. So no, it's not big enough for me, so I would stop it. The thing is, I don't even know that. Because like it's quite new that we changed languages. We're in the middle of a freaking crisis. So we have a economic crisis. We have that global pandemic thing still going on. We have finally a deep dive talk about structural racism and racism. So we have big ass topics which are important, not that I would say they are more important than your livelihood, because sales is normally very dependent on, like, it's kind of makes the money you buy stuff for. But it's of course our brains are all around the place and all over the place. We have so many things to do. So even in normal times, I wouldn't cut short our first run of like after 4 to 5 weeks. Never. Would always go with 3 months. I would always do a little bit of stretching myself. Stretching I'm not going into that mindset. I need feedback. You have to love me, at least in my Facebook lives. Smash, like, share. We're in here for the content. So if you don't like the content, and tell us that, that's an important point. But otherwise, I just have to go with what I know about people and their human behavior, is that potential buyers take much longer than I'm willingly, enthusiastically, and spark-driven would do my job. So me as kind of your queen of sales here, and like queen of your sales mindset, kicking your asses, your perception and my perception is always like, why don't you get it now? I've told you now 1,000,000 times, now is the time to act. But it's probably your first time here. Probably you weren't in the state of mind to even listen to me or hear me out. You couldn't be there, or you just saw sparks or anything else, like little things that it's probably time to work on your business and your whole over sales and marketing strategy. But that would take sometimes so many sentences from me, so many, the usual touch points. It's a very old concept, but still a true concept. Touch points where we got in touch, build our relationship to understand, yeah, they can help me. So, but my perception, of course, I always see all the work I'm doing on our sales side. So it doesn't matter. Of course, I'm seeing all the sales stuff I'm doing. I'm seeing the German stuff. I'm seeing all the one-on-ones I do with clients. I'm seeing the international stuff I'm seeing in the background was working on. So I see the whole shebang. And if I look at that, I see a hell lot of stuff we're doing. And yes, we do that successfully, but that doesn't mean that everything we start is always instant successful. If you know a little bit, story time, short background story on feminist economy. So whenever you now stumbled over feminist economy, it's July of 2020. But we are coming up to our second birthday. Regina and I started out what was just a show, a talk lunch about the bullshit bingo in online marketing and online business world, about that stuff people tell, get rich overnight, lose whatever, lose weight, be pretty, and gain $1 million in like 10 days. That started out, and from there on, we worked our way into different products into a company. So 2 years, not 2 days. 2 years of consistent work. A big launch coming up with our How to Business in German, our wieBusiness. The third round, not the first, the third round. I was planning, of course, a fourth and a fifth round. We're always improving products, and what we do is we work consistently on our sales. To tell you, we're here. We now put in the English-speaking part to get a more international crowd moving. We do that, and believe me, it's not always easy that you sit here and think, yeah, great, now it's a perfect time. And don't I have a new lovely cup? Thanks, Lenian, for that one. It's of course not that you're not always in the sales mindset where you think, yeah, that sounds like the best idea ever. But the thing is, your mind always wants to go with new, shiny, exciting, spark-driven. But if you want to build up old school company which earns you a living, which pays the bills and makes you happy and pays the bills even more for whatever you want to earn, and pays your retirement and stuff like that, it's to stay on track, to follow through constantly and constantly and constantly, and not get your sales mindset, which is so spark driven, which is so journey starting point driven, except for anything else. And also that thing is with follow through with your sales on a constant level is you have to be very more strategic if you do that. If your sales mindset is sales is just open up your mouth and kind of talking to people, and it's also annoying. So if you're either in the room of it's nothing kind of you have to work hard for, or you really have to work hard for because you dislike it. Both approaches will always kill the constant work you have to put in. The beauty of a digital marketing or sales strategy is that people can come and drop in and drop out at any time of moment. You can go to our YouTube channel and find stuff from back in the day of 2016. That's cool. The stuff is still good, but I produced it in 2016, not in 2020, but you find it now. So probably you watched that video now or in like weeks, or who knows, if you watch the video and it's 2022 and you're like, what, oh yeah, there was a crisis. Remember that one? Ooh, damn, that was an interesting year. So that's the beauty of a digital strategy, that people can find you in any moment of time. But on the other hand, that means that you have to tell yourself and keep up yourself on track to produce that content with a very timeless manner, and also to follow through with it and understand how that world outside works. When we change gears from a German-speaking crowd to an English-speaking crowd, of course, our reach isn't that big in the English-speaking when we're coming from a German-speaking crowd. So we have to take out the numbers into account that we would normally do. We have to see if the scheduling works out for you, or if our international crowd is more like not going to join live, just go drop in and drop out and watch the replay. That's all stuff, all data points we have to collect. And the thing is, on a paper track, everyone says yes. You can read that literally in every book. It's kind of a funny thing that so many books just state the same thing. Doesn't matter. But that's something for another topic. But to do that is depending on you and your idea that it's worth your time. It's time well spent to engage with your audience, even if you're not sure if there is an audience. If you pop up, you show yourself, and not only once, but many times. And to understand that your own brain can be, as you already learned around, your worst enemy. So if you want to follow through, always understand that the outside perspective, people just see short nuggets of you. They don't see the whole shebang. They don't see the work you put in into, probably you do also do your Facebook Live, and it probably took you hours to prepare the content and make a good video. People don't know that. And that's okay that they don't know that. They will appreciate it later on if you follow through. And don't let your brain wreck you with that important point. And tell me from experiences, many years on own projects, on own companies. You're listening to Feminist Economy, and that's my 14th company. That I also sometimes stopped just before it would have worked. Sometimes there were good people around me and telling me, no, just follow through, go with it. And believe me, I know how uncomfortable that position is. You know in your gut, or hopefully you know in your gut, or your intuition tells you, I follow through with that. I'm so following through with that. But like the outside world, it's just not reflecting. It's just not reflecting. You're like, that's not gonna work. It's like, and then people coming up and telling you, you know, these good friends, yeah, it's not worth the effort. It's worth the effort. Your clients are worth the effort to show up, to show them that you are here. And then the magic of sales starts, because then your clients understand you show up for them. You don't do that because you don't have stuff better to do, or you're not doing your sales out of an egoistical point. No, your clients understand you show up for them because you want to help them out before they even pay you. And that's when sales on a constant level works. And that's when suddenly mails and messages and phone calls come in, and they're going to tell you, I need a proposal and I need to work with you. And you're like, yeah, that's how it should work. And then you have like one sale a week for some bucks, some hundreds. And then you have one sale a week for some thousands. Then you go up and up and up. And that's how you grow. But you have to come to that point with yourself, and that your clients understand you show up for them. It's not about your ego, it's about them. It's about them, and you have to get out of your own fucking mind to do that. Sales is all about not you, it's all about them. And as easy as that sounds, it can be awfully hard. So Don't kick yourself. Don't be disencouraged or anything else. Follow through, work with it, and go into that little bit of a mindset drift of I show up for my clients no matter what. No matter my own state, put that aside. No matter sometimes the data crunching and analytical part, yeah, lecturing in data science, so I know the drill. Show up, do it, and then it will happen. It will happen that you not only have the money in your bank, the clients who already says yes, and then there's the follow-up stuff which comes in, and then you are in the beautiful position that you know where your profit, your revenue, both of it will come in the next month. So, as always, watch out for the value, show up for your clients, follow through with everything, and just do it much longer than you would think that stuff works till it comes to success. I know stories about that it took weeks, years to come to success. Of course, it's not always that long, and you should always have a good product portfolio where it doesn't take that long. But if you're starting out new, or considering the situation we're in here, we all have to work with a little bit longer timelines. So show up, show them that you are the right provider, service or product provider for their needs. Show them that they are there for you. And then everything will should work out. In that kind of way, please give me feedback about our schedule question. And then see you soon, talk soon again. Another round of Salespiration next Thursday. Bye.